Mr. Height, thanks again for seeing me today. By the way, is Mr. Height how you prefer to be addressed?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. As I mentioned in telephone conversation, I represent a dynamic organization by the name of the XYZ Company. And our primary focus is to help our clients, many like yourself, get improved performance from their three greatest resources: their people, their real estate, and their technology. And what I'd like to do today is learn more about you regarding your direction for your company, your goals, and any issues you think might hinder your long-term success. And I think that will quickly help me identify how, even if we can be of assistance to you. Now, if we both feel at the end of this meeting it was successful, I'm going to ask your assistance in meeting other individuals in your organization directly responsible for some of the topics we discussed today. How's that sound?
That sounds terrific.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to see us accomplish today?
Well, I certainly have some goals and things that we want to accomplish with our company.
Okay.
So
all right.
if you can help me along those lines, that would be fantastic.
Very good, very good. I'd like to get started by just getting a Reader's Digest version of your vision for your company.
Well, Ty, we've been in business for about 6 years now,
Okay.
and we're right about to make our big breakthrough. But you know how the economy is challenging everybody,
Right.
and we certainly don't want to go backwards.
Right, right.
So our biggest challenge is to be able to really move through and make the breakthrough, maybe even make the 500, who knows.
This has to be an exciting time for you and your organization. And I have a very unique tool that will help me dig a little deeper to determine how we can be of assistance to you. And it's called the QuestDeck Discovery System. And I'd like to use it with you now. And basically, Mr. Height, the QuestDeck Discovery System is a virtual deck of cards. All right? And on each card, as you can see, it has a workplace topic that many of my clients are either interested in now or concerned about for the future. And what I'd like for you to do is just look through the cards, and any card you feel is relevant to what you're looking to accomplish now or long term, I want you to touch that card and then literally just drag it down to the bottom of the screen. And you can scroll through the cards just literally by swiping it to the left or to the right.
Okay, let me give it a go.
Isn't that easy?
That's terrific, Ty. That's just at the touch of a finger here. It's terrific. And let me see. There
Okay.
you go.
Those are the
Terrific.
three that are important to your company.
Mhm.
Do me a favor now. What I'd like for you to do is prioritize these in order of importance. All right? So basically, if it's in the right order now, that's fine. But let's say for a moment, resilience was number 2. Just touch resilience and we just move it. So you can move it around the way you like.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so accommodate technology is the most important.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now what I'd like to do is just take some notes on that because what you're saying is important and I want to make sure I get it right. So is it okay if I take notes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, very good. Now I'm going to grab this for a time being right now. Now, accommodate technology I found can mean different things to different people. So when you say accommodate technology, specifically what do you mean by that?
Well, as you know, we're growing, so the ability to change and move in the future is very important to us, and quite frankly, Ty, I think like everybody, we've had some technological and technology issues over the past couple years that quite frankly, if I didn't have to readdress those systems again for the next 10 years and I had some technology that can grow and change with us, that would be fabulous.
Okay, you don't want to have to reinvest in technology for at least 10 years.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, what makes that so important now for your organization?
Well, in our company, being a growing company, what we find is that if we're constantly reinvesting in technology and dealing with it, it just distracts us from the other things that are priorities. So this is really an issue, Ty, that I want to have moved off of the table.
Okay. Now, what do you feel would be the impact on your organization if you had to revisit technology in a shorter time frame?
Oh, it would be terrible for us, because now we would be devoting our time and resources and attention on this at a very critical time when we need to be focusing on other things. So this would be a major disaster for us if I'm constantly having to review the technology issues.
Okay. Now, let me make sure I'm clear. When you talk about accommodating technology, you want a technology that can change and grow as your company grows. You don't want to have to reinvest any sooner than 10 years. And the reason that's so important now is because you have other things that are equally important to focus on, and you don't want to have to continue to reinvest in technology because that's distracting you from other things. And the impact, if you continue to have to focus on the technology, you're going to be devoting time to that instead of things that can help your company grow, be profitable, and even make it to the Fortune 500.
Exactly, Ty.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that covers that issue.
Okay, very good. Now, the other thing you mentioned was increased profits. There's several ways, or a couple of ways, primarily to increase profits. You can improve revenue, you can reduce cost. Tell me from your perspective what you're talking about, what you're thinking about when you say increase profits.
Definitely increasing our top line and bottom line revenue. That's really super important to us because we need to be able to not only meet but exceed our revenue goals and projections.
Okay. You need to exceed revenue projections. What makes this so critical now for your organization,
Well,
that you exceed these projections?
as you can appreciate, as we're growing and we're trying to get market share and expand, it's valuation.
Okay.
So we not only need revenue for operations, but we need it for valuation and profitability, and to establish a continuous track record.
Okay. And what do you think would be the consequences for your company if you were not able to increase the top and bottom line revenue in the very near future?
Well, this would be a setback to us because, quite frankly, due to the economy, we didn't meet some of our projections in the past couple of quarters. And we want to stop that trend. To continue a trend of continuing not to meet goals would not be good whatsoever. We want to reverse that, and we want to head into a direction of, as I said, meeting and exceeding our revenue goals to help bump up our valuation to, again, for purposes of where we project ourselves to be that Inc. or 500 company or Fortune 500 company. You know, those are the statistics and metrics that they look at, Ty.
Okay, so what would happen if you say you did not meet your projection in the last 2 quarters? What would happen if you went another 2 quarters and that happened?
Well, 2 things could happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we certainly could find ourselves in a situation that we'd have to be making cutbacks, downsizing,
Okay.
laying off people. You know, we certainly don't want to go there. But even worse from my perspective is, instead of being the leader and the one that's going to be advancing in our industry, we'll be the ones that will either be out of business or subject to buyout or what have you. So this is a factor that is absolute paramount priority to us. But I think I put the technology thing there. You can see is I don't want all the distractions to keep us away from this issue.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm clear on this before we move on. When you talk about increasing profits, what you're looking to do is increase your top and your bottom line revenue number, because you need to exceed, not meet, but you need to exceed projections now. The reason that's so important, as you mentioned, is because of valuation. You need to be able to cover your expenses. You need to show a consistent track record. And the impact, if you aren't able to accomplish this in the very near future, is there are going to be setbacks. You didn't meet your projection for the last 2 quarters, and if you go another 2 quarters like this, there are going to be cutbacks, there are going to be downsizing potentially, loss of employees. You won't be the leader in the industry, and you could ultimately be bought out.
That's correct.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add at this point?
Well, I think that if you would have asked me top line or bottom line, from our perspective, it's really the top line. That's why I didn't go to a card there on cutting costs and what have you.
Okay.
Our concern right now is generating the cash flow.
Top line is primary. Okay, excellent, excellent. You know, Mr. Height, you've given me a lot of good information, and the last thing I want to do now is be presumptuous enough that I can resolve it right here today. What I do want to do at this point is take the information you've given me, take it back to my team, and really process it and kind of marinate in it. Then I'd like to schedule a time to come back and present some ideas that could help you accomplish these objectives. How does that sound?
Well, Ty, that sounds terrific, and I'm glad that you even mentioned that. I'd be a little concerned if you told me you had all of the answers now before I even told you what it was that I needed. So great, I'm looking forward to you and your team's input on this.
Okay, and just to make sure we're on the same page as we go through this process, I have the ability of being able to send you the notes that I just took.
Oh, I'd like that very much.
Okay, all right, so I'll just go ahead and send that to you right now. And it's set.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you in the next week or so.
Fantastic, Ty. Thank you.
No, my pleasure.